I'm James Parker, and this is Florida Story. Oh my goodness, thank you so much. For our first Florida story, I want to start with a different James. You know, I'm your host, James Parker. Well, this other James is James Bond. Not from 007 fame, not the secret international spy from MI6. This James Bond lives in Miami. Or does he? Turns out, his name's not really James Bond. He's a fraudster. He stole the ID of a guy who actually is named James Bond, sets up a fake ID, goes in, walks up to a teller, and makes a withdrawal of $3,000. He comes in the next day and he gets $5,000. Then he comes in the day after that and gets $6,000. Next day he comes in, gets $3,500. The teller was getting suspicious, does a little investigating, turns out, oh, you don't say. The guy's not really named James Bond. Okay, now here's the part you're missing. In the mug shot, you could see that this James Bond, or some guy purporting to be James Bond, looks absolutely ridiculous. He's got long hair, and it's frizzy, and it's not really kept up that well, and it's kind of this dark brown, and it's braided up into a couple of ponytails. So, and it's not like cool looking like Tonto ponytails. It looks like Post Malone also in the fact that he has a scraggly beard and he has a bunch of tattoos on his neck. One of which is sort of recognizable. You know how Egyptian gods like to take a dude and just put an animal's head on it? Well, it's the one with the jackal. He has Anubis on his neck. And don't be impressed that I knew that. I Googled it before the show. So this guy looks like a freak show. Big scraggly beard, wild hair, goofy tattoos, and he's purporting to be James Bond. His real name is Austin Swope, and he just celebrated his 22nd birthday, and now he's in jail. This isn't the first time he's gotten in trouble. There is some other charges going back to earlier this spring. There is some more at the very beginning of the year in January, and this is his jam, and I guess he's just going to keep doing this until he gets away with it. But listen, I don't like for you to judge a book by its cover, but, sometimes when the guy has like 2-inch holes in his earlobes and he looks like he's trying to cut a white guy rap album from his mom's garage, and he's coming in withdrawing thousands and thousands of dollars on a regular basis, and he's just wearing what is that t-shirt? Is that an OP t-shirt? Go ahead and be skeptical.
Wait,
Hold my beer.
What?
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer. What is it?
For our next Florida story, we're going to Lauderdale Lakes, which I don't think Lauderdale Lakes has been on the show before, so congratulations. This is your first time. We'll make it special. We're going to mix Florida and this new town, Lauderdale Lakes, with Walmart and some really bad reporting from the AP. I kind of get used to the local Floridians reporting on their own stuff, and then when you bring in some outside agency, it is so hard for the outside world to interpret what happens in an actual Florida story. So let me just read you the first paragraph. This is from the Associated Press. This is what they're supposed to be doing for a living, and see if I don't do a better job explaining to you what happened here. First paragraph. An off-duty Walmart employee fatally shot a customer who tried to help a female employee who had gotten into a fight with the off-duty employee, Florida law enforcement officials said Wednesday. Did you get all that? What it really means is there's a 22-year-old Florida man who works at Walmart, and he was trying to hook up with one of his coworkers. So when he was off of work and she was still on, he was going to go pick her up, and they were going to hang out afterwards. But it turned out she wanted to work late. They got into an argument, and he actually hit her. Some dude stepped in and intervened. The dude pulls out a gun. He knocks the gun away. The fight continues. Eventually, the 22-year-old off-duty Walmart employee / Florida man grabs his own gun, squeezes off a few rounds into the Good Samaritan who was just trying to help a lady who was getting her butt kicked. And that's the end of him. And I think Florida man has already been suspended from his Walmart job as well. So no real winners here. Just Florida tragedy all the way around. Hold my beer.
Wait,
Hold my beer.
what?
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer. What is it?
All right, be skeptical with me here. When you see the headline, this is from Lady Lake, Florida, by the way. Cool names for these towns. Man brutally attacked with golf club for walking on cart path. So we go to the report here from News 6 in Orlando.
Investigators say he got into an argument with a man he said walked onto the golf cart path, then hit the man twice with a club, including once in the head. Orobit was arrested on a charge of aggravated battery, but has since bonded out of jail. As for the victim, deputies say he was hurt so badly he had to be taken to the hospital.
All right, for the James Parker rest of the story on this one, what you have here was a married couple who lives on the golf course, and as almost every night they walk the golf cart path, and some guy with a golf cart comes and honks at them and fusses. Dude, go around them. In the rare times that I've attempted to play golf, I don't understand why I got so mad. People get so mad. I do too. I don't understand how trying to hit this little ball into a hole that's about 400 yards that way can make you so angry. If you're already one of these guys who's a little violent to begin with, man, maybe you shouldn't take up golf. Maybe you shouldn't take up things that make you so mad you just start whipping 60-something-year-old old couples on their nightly walk. Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer. What is this?
For our next Florida story, we're going to Kissimmee, Florida, where, speaking of getting angry, this is another one. You're seeing these people get angry at referees, at sports, and at this one, it is a high school baseball game. And I'm going to let the local TV affiliate, Channel 2, tell you what the heck happened with this one.
A high school umpire is knocked unconscious by an angry parent, and several people watching the game recorded the incident on their phones.
Sheriff Marco Lopez says one of the baseball players caused a disruption and started to argue with the umpire.
So the umpire is, obviously going to maintain control of the game because that's what they're there to do.
When the umpire went to stand near the fence, law enforcement says the boy's dad got up out of the stands, walked to the umpire, and punched him in the head. That hit knocked the umpire unconscious.
You know what? God bless all you people who go out and referee youth league games. That is something the level of abuse that is thrown at these people for what they're not making money. They're just doing this for the love. But the other thing, the dad that punched the ump, he's fat. And I don't mean like he's overweight. I'm overweight. This dude's over 300 pounds. He might be 350. I mean, he is not even that tall either. So it looks like this little fat, kind of like Mario before he ate a mushroom dude, went and punched an ump. And I am always confused by people who are so completely ridiculously unathletic getting worked up about athletics. What connection could you possibly have to baseball or even a 100-yard dash that you would get so worked up about it? Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer. What is this?
For our last Florida story, we're going to Clearwater, and this is a bad story, sort of, but I mean, this could be the second coming of Jesus.
They pronounced a man dead seconds after arriving to his aid, but the man was not dead.
On February 15th, Phoebe Maxwell found her dad, Thomas, on the floor.
I started CPR immediately. When the EMTs got there, the guy said, "Oh, you can stop doing that now." I says, "No, I'm not going to. He's not dead."
The call was upgraded to a cardiac arrest, bringing more resources. But Chief Scott Eller says Rivero and Pickens instead pronounced Thomas Maxwell dead, then notified law enforcement and went to another call.
When Jesus came back to life, the Romans that pronounced him dead, they probably got fired too. Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer. What is this?
Stories is produced by Spring Rock. Follow me on Twitter at Florida Stories J. I'm James Parker, and this is Florida Story. James Parker here. I've been working with Dwayne Stein on the radio version of Mortgage Gumbo for years, and then a couple of years ago, I actually needed a mortgage. Me and my wife were moving to another state, and this was complicated. I'm a self-employed guy, so I like to, for tax purposes, have my income as low as possible. So does that hurt me qualifying? Wife is quitting her job and taking a new job. We're selling an existing house while at the same time buying a new house. All kinds of complications. And Dwayne's not just full of hot air on the radio show. He took the reins, took care of it for me, got all my paperwork. Him and Sam teamed up, and if there was a request for more info, they usually jumped on it before I even saw the email. Someone, I'm not going to name any names, but one of our realtors missed something in the paperwork, and Dwayne caught it. I'm not making this up just to make a good commercial. He's legit. So if you're buying, you need a refi, reverse, anything like that, call Dwayne Stein at Mortgage Gumbo. Go to mortgagegumbo.com.
Dad can.